human mechanism, my intelligence, my different faculties, how they function, because if I don't understand this, I cannot really apply myself into any…
I don't have a steady mind and I can't focus at one thing. Even if I try a lot, even mobile is a very big distraction apparently. So how do I focus on one thing at a time? I fear that if I give too much time to one thing, I might lose or lack in other things.
See, see, the nature of human intelligence is such that it can do many things at the same time as a process. When I say intelligence, most people are misunderstanding intelligence as intellect. Intellect is your thought process. Thought is just one dimension of your intelligence. Thought is only happening because of the data that you have gathered in your mind. You cannot think about anything for which you have no data, isn't it so? Isn't it so? Isn't it so? So, human intelligence is made like this. In the yogic way of looking at life, we look at human intelligence as 16 parts. Out of these 16 parts, we can, for the sake of understanding, we can see it as 4 segments. These 4 segments are buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. Buddhi means the intellect. Intellect, when it comes to your intellect, would you like a sharp intellect or a dull intellect? You must choose, I'm going to bless you right now. Sharp intellect. So obviously, intellect is a cutting instrument. It's like a knife, it's a scalpel. It's good for cutting. If you want to dissect something, you need a good sharp intellect. But suppose you want to sew something, all you have is a knife. If you sew with a knife, you know what'll happen? You will leave everything in tatters. But right now, this is the way we are going about because our education systems are focused just purely intellectual basis. This is a cutting instrument. If I want to really know you, shall I dissect you? Hello? I want to know you, so shall I dissect you? Well, some of you in your maybe pre-university studies, you dissected a frog and you were very excited how the heart was beating. The frog was not excited, believe me. It was looking at you, what's wrong with you? Yes or no? So, intellect is a certain instrument. It is a cutting instrument. It can be used for certain aspects of life. But unfortunately, we are using it all pervasive because other dimensions of intelligence have not even been touched. The next dimension of intelligence is called identity. The next dimension of the mind is called identity or the ahankara. Identity means, depending upon what you're identified with, that's how your intellect will function. This is a knife in the front, this will always try to protect what you're identified with. You say, I'm a woman, it'll try to protect your gender. You say, I'm an Indian, it'll try to protect your nationality. You say you're some religion, it'll try to protect that. Whatever is your identity, your intellect is always working to protect that identity. So how we establish this identity consciously is a very important part of education which we have completely ignored today, for which we are paying a huge price. In the traditional education, from 0 to 12 is balavastha, that means just to play, eat, sleep. So that the body and the brain should grow till they're 12 years of age, you should not try to teach anything, extract anything. From 12 to 24 is focused learning. This is called as brahmacharya, discipline of how to learn. Learn is not just learning other disciplines, but above all, learning about the nature of my own human mechanism, my intelligence, my different faculties, how they function, because if I don't understand this, I cannot really apply myself into anything. So, we always establish this, you might have heard of this, there is something called as Aham Brahmasmi at the age of 12. This is taught to a child. Before we initiate a child into education, first he must take a universal identity, that my identity is the larger universe. Maybe today I'm an Indian, maybe today I belong to this religion or that religion, maybe I belong to this caste, clan or whatever, but my larger identity is with the universe, because education was seen as an empowerment. We don't want to empower you when your identity is narrow, because all the crime on the planet, all the corruption on the planet, all the horrendous things that people do to each other is only because of limited identity, isn't it? I can do it to you, but I can't do it to myself because this is me, isn't it? I can't do it to my own child, but I can do it to somebody else because this is mine and that is not mine. So before you are empowered with education, which is seen as a powerful tool for life, first thing is take a universal identity. Unfortunately, we've neglected. Because of this, today if you see, the cutting edge of technology and science always goes first for military use. Yes or no? So how to kill people, how to dominate somebody, how to destroy somebody, this is where our knowledge is going, simply because we did not establish a universal identity before education came to people. So the third dimension of your mind is referred to as manas. Manas means it's a silo of memory. When I say memory, it's not just what you remember, your entire body is memory. There is evolutionary memory here, there is genetic memory here, there is karmic memory here, there is articulate and inarticulate levels of memory, conscious and unconscious levels of memory, various dimensions of memory. We identify 8 different forms of memory. Right now, you may not remember how your great-great-great-grandfather looked like 10 generations ago, but his nose is sitting on your face. Body remembers, yes or no? Body absolutely remembers everything. So this memory is the basis of your intellect. If we take away the memory or de-link the memory from your intellect will become without activity. This is one important dimension of yoga that we understood, that if you want to continue the knife analogy, the intellect is like a knife. The hand that holds the knife is identity. Knife is useful or dangerous depending upon, not on the knife's quality, but the hand which holds it, isn't it? If you're identified one way, this knife will poke you. If you're identified in a different way, this knife can save your life. So the same knife every day saves lives and sometimes takes lives, depending upon who holds it or which hand holds it. So we de-link the manas with the intellect. Now, intellect simply there, without intention. So essentially, yoga means this, to build an intensity within you without intent. Right now, I want to become an engineer, I want to become rich, I want to make money, I want to be this, I want to be that, you become goal-oriented. This is the fundamental flaw in the education system, we become goal-oriented. Because we want to get there, we are doing all this, we are like circus monkeys. Circus monkeys are like this, you show a banana and say, you do all those tricks, I'll give you a banana. So it will do all the tricks, banana. No banana, you will simply sit there. So, once you become human, you should not behave like a circus monkey. It is not because of a carrot and stick that you're driving yourself, because you're seeing that what you're doing is of some consequence to you and to the world around you. That's why the action. So if you de-link the knife and the hand and the silo of memory, then your intellect will shine with sharpness. It will not be rusted with memory, it will shine with sharpness. See, it's like this. There are some people who are when you go to restaurants you will see, and maybe in some homes also, you ask them to cut a mango, they will use the same knife with which they've cut onion and they cut the mango and give you. You can't keep it in your mouth, the sweetness of the mango is gone. If the residual impact of whatever the knife has touched is there in it, slowly it will lose its purpose, isn't it? The same goes for your intellect. If the memory sticks to your intellect, after some time, it'll become a useless intellect because it becomes a highly prejudiced intellect. So, the entire yogic system is about this, to dissolve your identity and simply sit here so that your intellect will shine like a razor without any intent. Intensity without intent, if it comes into your intellect, you can do 25 things at the same time, just like that, okay? People keep asking me, Sadhguru, you have been busy the whole 6 months, not a day's break, then how did you write this poem? How did you think about this? How did you come up this plan? How did you design this one and that one? I have 12, 14 tracks running all the time, I just initiate and leave, they will run by themselves. See, when a computer is able to process something, if you feed and leave, it processes, isn't it? Isn't this a better computer than anything that you have ever used? Hello? Only problem is you did not read the user's manual for this one. You must read the user's manual. So just listening to videos is no good. We can teach you a simple practice. You start the practice of delinking the intellect from the memory at least for a few minutes a day, you will see your intellect becomes super competent.